Hello and welcome to Master of Nan. Today we're going to cover the one-line for loop. So we're going to jump right in and we're just going to write a regular for loop. So we'll say for I in range 1 through 11, colon, print I. There we go. So now we have this nice range 1 through 10. This is a regular for loop. What if there were a way to, instead of putting this into a list, so like let's say we had new list equals this, and then we just want to say new list append I, and then we'll print, or we just call new list. There we go. So here's our list, but look, see, it took 4 lines of code to do that. So let's simplify it and put it into 1 line of code. All right, are you ready? We're going to say newer list equals, and then we want to specify that we're going to do an inline for loop, so we use the square brackets right here. So we'll say I for I in range 1 through 11, and then we'll just call our newer list. And holy smokes, we did it in 1 line as opposed to 3. Sorry, I said 4 earlier. So this is a great example of an inline loop, and so it's a great way to put lists of things and do list actions without having to write a full for loop every time. Now let's do the same thing, except we're going to revisit the FizzBuzz exercise that I covered in my FizzBuzz tutorial. So right here I printed out some directions to actually tell you how to do FizzBuzz. Right, so the goal is to print the word fizz for multiples of 3 and buzz for multiples of 5, and then FizzBuzz for multiples of 3 and 5, i.e. the number 15. Right? So let's bring up our FizzBuzz one-liner, take it out of the comment line, and execute. Okay, so now that I've executed this, you'll notice that I've got 1, 2, fizz, 4, buzz, fizz, etc., and then FizzBuzz where the value for 15 normally would be. So let's go through and break this down like we would have if we were writing a regular for loop. To do that, though, I'm going to kind of walk you backwards through this loop, okay? So, as we showed up here, where we said I for I in range 1 through 11, right here, we say I for I in range 1 through 101. Now, you'll notice that the word immediately preceding this is else. So this is the default if none of the conditions previous are met. So in order, like we did in the FizzBuzz tutorial, now I'm going to go back to the front of this for loop and show you what that means. So the first condition I said, so instead of putting the value of I, which is the iterator value, I say FizzBuzz if the following condition, or conditions in this case, are true, right? So the modulus of I modulus 3 is 0, and I modulus 5 is 0. So, i.e., the number I is divisible by both 3 and 5. You put FizzBuzz. And then you have to write else, or else it gets angry. Else fizz if I modulus 3 equals 0. Right, so that's our second condition. And then else buzz if I modulus 5 equals 0. And then the very last else, of course, we already went through. Else, just print I, or the number, as you can see here, 1, 2, not divisible by 3 or 5, or 3 and 5, for I in range 1 through 101. So that is the quick down and dirty of how to do FizzBuzz in 1 line, and also how to do inline for loops, which I found to be very useful in my work as a data analyst. This has been Master of Nan. Thanks for watching.